Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening to many places, good afternoon to many places, and very, very good morning to all. Uh, Welcome to our CSharpCorner Global Monthly Virtual Meet. As we all know, we all meet on every 15th of every month. It's a Saturday, it's a Sunday, it's a weekday, but we all meet in the same time zone. We have amazing agenda today. We are gonna be talking about Power BI dashboard with Aroh Shukla. We are gonna be talking about interacting with Microsoft 365 data in Power Platform using Graph API by Abhijeet Jadhav. And again, we are gonna talk about Azure Sentinel with Office 365 by Eng Soon Cheah from Singapore. So, hi Aroh, can you hear me?
Yes, Manpreet, I can hear you very clearly.
Hi Aroh, how are you doing today?
I'm absolutely fine, man. I was waiting for you for this session.
Yep,
Excited.
and we are here to start. Welcome to the
Yes,
session, and the mic is and the floor is all for you. Go ahead.
sure. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
give me my slide deck, please. Yeah. Uh, Good evening, good morning, which place you are coming from. My name is Aro, and we'll talk about Power BI dashboard in 1 hour. It's quite short time. I show you everything in my capability. Uh, I'm Aroh Shukla, and I'm from Singapore. I'm a certified trainer, MCT, and have experience in Office 365, and also trying to do something on the data platform. I'm also an Office 365 and Power BI trainer, and this is my Twitter and blog. I mostly update my blog very frequently. Okay, so agenda for us quite simple. Nothing rocket science. Simple stuff we'll talk about today is a beginner to intermediate. So what we can achieve in Power BI, okay, and we review the features of Power BI, okay, and mostly we talk about the core main pillars which is of any data solution. It's not related to Power BI, but all the data solutions need some main four parts, which is the data transformation, data modeling, DAX calculations, and the last and not certainly not the least is the reports and visualizations. Okay, and we review a new dashboard report from the scratch. So, are you excited? Okay, I'm very excited. Okay, so let me explain what is Power BI. Power BI actually is a suite of tools. It has a Power BI desktop designer, which we talk today, and we'll do all our changes and things inside our Power BI. Then we do about something called as Power BI Service, which is a cloud solution. Later, something called the third module is about mobile versions. So I'm not talking about the clouds version and the mobile, but I want to let you know that Power BI works in all three form factors on the web, desktop, and all the mobile. Okay. So you can ask me, Aru, what is this Power BI? Is it something new tool? Not exactly. You know that historically we have some old technologies, something called as a Power Pivot, Power Query, Power View, and Power Map. So those were earlier. Microsoft has released a lot of add-ins in Excel. Okay, but what happened, right? It's not very stable, and a lot of issues doesn't work properly, and that's why Microsoft came with a product which is Power BI, which is more stable, easier for the end users and also for the business users. Okay, so I just want to highlight that what is the main difference between the Excel and Power BI. You can Excel, you know what's happening. That you have a Excel, which is mostly if your data is very large, it slow down your system. Okay, and moreover, it doesn't have any data security, data connectors, and mobility. The if you see the other side, which is a Power BI, you can have a large data set, which is from terabytes to petabytes. And also, Power BI has something called as security trimming. You can filter who can see what. Moreover, Power BI have a lot of connectors which I show in my demo, and which I showed you that you can do mobile, you can do on the desktop, web, and also on the tablets. Okay, so there are three versions of Power BI. I won't go to the third version, which is slightly more complex to share. But I want to share you about the Power BI free edition and the Pro edition. The Power BI free edition is free for all the Office 65 and M65 users. So yeah, there are some limitations for that. You have a data limit of 1 GB, and the data refresh is daily 8 times in a day. But main issue, I say the problems I will say that doesn't have the real time data. You can't share the data with external people or with the internal. And the killer, which is something called a security, data is not secure. So if you have used Power BI free edition and we put into SharePoint, you can see a link like Twitter, blog, and on the web. So it's not safe in that matter. However, if you go for Power BI Pro, which I mostly tell my all my customers to use Pro, because it has a lot of security, and it also have a 10 GB user per month. So, for example, I have 10 GB and have 1,500 users, so I have 1 TB of my data in my Power BI workspace. And also in Power BI Pro Edition, the data refresh is hourly. Okay, so this is a very good thing. If the data has to be refreshed on the regular basis, you can do in this context. Again, you can have your real-time data. You can share the data, and obviously, if you're using Office 365 suite, you have peace of mind because your data is safe and secure. Okay, so again, I talk about the main pillars. It's not about Power BI, but all data solutions are based on that. So first we have the load and transformation, data modeling, some calculations, and reports. Let's start with the data transformation. So our data should be in a very raw format. It could be in a text file, or it could be a SQL data, or it could be an Excel file. So we have to shape a data so that is useful for our users or for your business users. So one thing to highlight here, that when you try to attempt any kind of transformation, the Power BI try to find it whether is a number or the date field, but it's not always exact. So we have to see if the transformation is correct or not. Okay. So here in Power BI, we will actually work on the data transformation, which I highlighted here. Second is the data modeling. Data modeling is where you can have optimization. So if you've seen that in a university, we have something called as normalizations. So here, data model, you actually normalize your tables and columns. Okay, and you segment some relationships and build relationships with the tables is easier for your data model. And if you have affected the data model, you actually save a lot of time. Really, I have seen many customers, they don't have any data model and they struggle. Okay, so here we see in a highlighted, we have a data model, which we actually show in my demo as well. The third step again is calculations. Okay, so again in Power BI context, we have a formula language which is called as DAX. Okay, so it's not it's Power BI, but a lot of users, a lot of products like Power Pivot also use a similar kind of technology called as DAX. Okay, but for building our scenario and also for making any calculations, I strongly recommend to use DAX formulas. Is make your life much simpler. Okay, the last one is something called as visuals, and it's very simple. If you have done all your homework, that data transformation, your model and DAX calculations, then you can easily bait your story. Okay, and very important, you should not never clutter your dashboard. okay, and your information will be stand out. Simply, it should be stand out. So even within few seconds, if I have able to find it, it should be seen within 15 to 20 seconds. If my dashboard is take more than 20 seconds, then which means my dashboard or report is a failure. Okay, one thing to highlight, very important thing, I've seen many people, they started working on this area, reports and visualizations. They never actually do their transformations. They do some kind of data modeling. They never do any kind of DAX calculations. They start building on the visuals, which is a very bad technique. Never ever do this thing. It's not good. Okay, so I'll show you what we are going to build today. We are building this dashboard, and then we see how it works. Okay, so let me give you a simple scenario. Okay, so we have a company called Santoso, and they have gone to some US regions, USA, and they found some Excel files. In the Excel file, they have four Excel sheets: sales, customer, product, and regions. Okay, so they want to do some kind of reporting, and this Contoso have in different regions. They have in London office, they have in the Singapore regions, and Malaysia, Australia, and New Zealand. And very difficult for them to share the report to other people because everything is under Excel file. So they want to do some KPIs. So what KPIs? They want to show total sales date, the number of units sold, and unique order, and the sales average per day. So this is the core requirement for this Contoso real life scenario. And also they want to filter by different segments. They want to segment by distribution channel, whether it's a retail, whether it's online. So those things they want to filter. Okay, and also they want to filter by the warehouse code, which region, whether it's New York or Utah, which region has a lesser materials transformation. So very important for them to filter. And another thing, they have something called as a region. So which region is doing good? Whether it's New York, whether it's Washington, they want to find it. And something called as a date. They want to filter a date. Now, very important thing to note that in Excel data, we have no information about date. So we have to manage this thing. The date column is not there, no date tables. We have to manage it. The later, we have to do something, or else we have to do a map where we can find a region and each state how much they are doing, whether they're doing bad sales or the good sales. And also they want to do some filtering. Okay, so let me show you a demo. Okay, we will revise this thing again. So let me show a demo to you. Okay, so this is my Power BI desktop, and this is the latest version, which is June 2020. Okay, so here the first thing what we have to do is that we have to transform the data. People mostly go and get data, but it's not in a good way. You will get a lot of errors if we go for get data here. Mostly as a best practice, go for this method, transform data, and click on here. You see now? Now here you can see all my data sources, right? I can see all my data sources. Get data, I can get on my Excel files, my Excel, my JSON data, my folder. I can get all my databases as well, third party and first party. So I can get SQL, even Access database. I can go for HANA database. Everything we can filter. We also have something called as a Power BI data flows and CDS, and something at third-party systems like SharePoint, which is a native. And also we can for third-party systems like Google, Salesforce, and like QuickBook. So there are a lot of features where you can get the latest data. Now, something to highlight that the anything is with beta, which means that the Microsoft actually is working on that and is not into public. So it is beta. Soon, this particular connector will be available in general availability. Okay. So in that context, let me give you a simple scenario, and I will give you an Excel file, which is very simple to understand. So go try to click on the connect button, and I have an Excel file called as a consumer good sales data. So what's happening is behind actually is trying to load the Excel file into our Power BI model. Okay, so I can go select the tables. You can see that it has a customer list, distribution channels. I can filter the product list. I can get the regions, get the all my regions, and the big table, which is a sales table, which is a huge table, right? Here, I can get all the information, but not all the data is shown here. So I click on the OK button, click OK button. So what I will do now is I'm going to step one, which is data transformation. Now I can see that the column one, column two doesn't make any sense. The header actually should be customer name and customer channel. So what I can do at the basic transformation, I can do go use the first row as headers. And now I'm done with that, right? So I've done basic transformation. Also, I don't want to have a customer list. I put this customers. Okay, simple. So again, I found that column one doesn't make any sense. The row one should be the description. So again, I do a basic transformation. Okay, and I make it as a products. Okay. This is the information. It has the all my details about all my products. Whether it's candy, it has the bubble gum, chocolates. I have all the informations. We have this information under that. And again, if you go column 2, column 3, column 4, doesn't make any sense. It should be at the first row. Then I do some basic transformation here. So if you see, I have all the states in under US. So I have Alabama, I can see the California, I can see the Kentucky, I have the status. And one thing to note, if you have something called a short code, right? Short code, the state code, right? So AL, CO, and we have the division and the region. Okay, the region could be whether it's a south, west, or northeast. Okay, so this is the region which is we have got the information. Next one, this is our fact table, and this has around 8,000 rows. Okay, so again, in this here, we don't do any transformation. So I just change the table name to the sales. Okay, and I can see that it has the order number, order date, the customer information, the currency code. Okay, lot of information, and the delivery region. Now, delivery region is a similar we have seen in the short code in the US region, right? So we have the KY, ID, all the US regions. And also, we have something called as order quantity and the unit price. So each row, for example, I have this first row, we have a customer code called as a new limited. So I can see how much they have gave a value to us. And they have the total line total. So line total and any comments here. So here what we are doing, we're getting all our information under this table. Now, one thing to note here that we don't have any date thing. So let me filter by date. So I have 2015. Let me load more. I can see that 2015 to 2015 till 2016. So this data order date has data from 2016, right? So in our scenario, we have something called as a date filter, right? So we have to filter. So what we have to do, we create another table, a blank table called as a date table. Okay. So here I will do something called as an advanced editor, and I give you a simple scenario, and I will share everything with you in my after showing the screen. I will show you the entire solution in Excel file. In this, I have just copied a simple. I have not written. I copied from one of the places where I can get the data. I can get the year number. So all the information are stored here. Okay, this information actually is called as AMP code. Okay, okay. So nothing to worry about. That simple thing I just want to show you. So whatever even our scenario, our audit date is from 2015 to 2016. So I will do 1st Jan 2015 and 31st December. So I will covering all the 1st Jan to 2016, right? So both years I'm covering. Now, F5 start date. So again, in the US and all the regions, it depends on the which particular financial year. So in US and in India and other places, mostly financial year, the month is mostly month 3rd or 4th. Okay, so I put number 4, April. Okay, invoke, and you see I get a table, which is a huge table, which has all the information about the month, year, everything. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, I just make it as a date table and as a date query. Okay, so I'm done with that. So what I'm going to do next, I just want to save it. So what's happening in the background, that is doing some calculation and storing all the information inside this data model of Power BI desktop. So if you see here, all your tables are stored here. All tables are stored here. Okay, and if you see the data model, so this is a data model. Okay, so here I have my regions. Okay, so now I have done with my first step, which is the data transformation. I'm step 2, I'm doing some transformation. I'm doing some kind of data modeling. Okay, so I mentioned to you that if you the data, Power BI actually try to detect the columns. So in here, if you click on the customer, you see that customer name is same, and the customer name is also listed on the customer column. Okay, so here we also will find all the information very easily. Okay, same thing with the product description. In the product description as well, yeah, so same column. But I told you, right, shortcode and delivery regions are different names, and that's why Power BI could not detect. Okay, but we can do it very easily. So we just map it. We map it, the delivery region. Where is the delivery region? Yeah, I map it as a shortcode. You see, it's very simple. So either, although name is not mapped, but you can do it very easily. The last one is the date column. So our order date is a main table. So what I will do, I just map it as a uh, order date to date column. You see now? So this actually I'm making a data model. Okay, so because my data model is quite simple, there's not too much information, but this is the way you create your data model. Mostly all your fact table, the big table, will be stored in this information in this here. Okay, and your lookup tables will be mostly on the top. Okay, so I put all my lookup tables like that. Okay, it's very easy to filter in that way. So we can see the product description, we can see the short code, and also we are able to find the date columns as well. Right? So what I'm going to do next is just want to save it. Okay, just save my data model. Okay, two things we have done. We done data modeling, we done the transformation. Okay, the third step actually is the calculations. Okay, so now let's review what we have to do for this contour. So we have to go for some KPIs and also US map region. So for KPIs, I will, the best practice, I will create an empty table and call as a key measures. Okay, I'll tell you why I'm doing it. Okay, so now we can see that it has a empty table. Okay, so I'm creating a new measure. We have to create a lot of measures in this scenario. So I'm going to create a measure called as the total sales. Sales. Okay. Then in the DAX formula, also in Excel, we have something called as sum. So I'm going to sum my column, table. The table should be the sales table. The sales table have the sales information, right? Sales table has all the sales information. So what I'm going to do, I'm creating a sales table, and I have something called as line quoted. So I told you right in my data set that it's line quoted and quoted. So each it actually is doing summation of an entire table. Okay, it's doing summing. Okay, so I'm done with that. So what I will do next, I will just delete it. Okay, double click again. Now you can see I have a double calculator, right? So this is the one measure. So just assume you have around 50 tables or 60 tables, and all your measures are across against and under customers and products. It's very difficult. It's almost impossible to find which table you have calculations. So using organize your measures in this way is much simpler. Okay. So next I'll do one more calculation here, and the calculation will be unit soles. So I'm using simple calculations. Unit sole, and again use some function. And here I'm using something called as the order quantity. So I'm doing all my orders. This is where I'm creating two measures. The third measure I'll be creating will be the unique orders. So go to unique order. And if you see the sales table have around 10,000 or 8,000 rows. So we have to calculate all the rows inside that table, 8,000 rows. So we have to count. So we have a function called as a count rows index, where you can see all your information under this table. So sales table have all the information. So I just put sales. I'm done. What I'm showing you is showing you very simple DAX calculations. Okay. The last part is the what is the next? One more thing I have to do is average sales per day. So as a KPI. So let me show you how we can do it. The very simple stuff. Average sales, and average, right? It is an average. So if you see, there are three functions in DAX. First is the average, the mean for entire row. We are not going for that. We have to go for average X for entire table. Which table? Obviously, it should be the sales table, right? So I'm using another function as values. Okay, and then I will use a date table. Okay, and I showed you that date this very crucial for our DI solutions. And we use our this measurable process, and we are done. So, recap what we have done so far. We have done basic stuff. We have done first step, we do some transformation, simple transformation. Then we do some data modeling. We add a date table so it is easier for the calculations for the reports. And the third one, what we have done, we have created some DAX calculations. And as a best practice, I kept all my DAX measures inside this as a key measures. Okay. So if you see here, all my measures, I put it on the left side. Okay. Again, to just want to highlight, they are not linked here. They're not linked. It just for the, as a calculation for the our reports. Okay. Now we are going to go to Ajam's juicy part, which is creating visuals. Now we have done our hard work, calculations, data modeling, transformation. Let's create some amazing visuals. So let me create a basic a report called as US sales. I can just bump the size to maybe 36. Okay. And our requirement, let's see what is date metal. They want to see the sales by date. So let me go by sales by date. Okay. Here I'm going to sales. Rather than going for the hierarchy, I just filter by date and I see the date format. Okay. The one thing to highlight that it is not a good format for reporting. So what I can do on the tables, right? On the tables under this one is a long format of dates, right? It is not very easy for the users to visualize and see the data. So I will do some formatting here, data formatting. I go to column tools and I'll change to a small date format. You see now? It's much simpler for the users. Okay. I will do a similar thing for our date. So date formats in the date column, I will change to smaller date format. Now see, it's very simple now, right? And next, because I have already created a measure for total sales, I just drag it. Okay, drag it. I then convert as a stacked column chart. You see now? So we have done one visual just using data model and DAX formulas. You see, it's so simple, right? Okay, so this thing I want to show you, and it is quite big, so I just make it smaller. Okay, next one, I want to put KPIs. So I have 4 KPIs: total sales, units sold, unique order, and average sales per day. So again, I'll go to total sales here. Okay, now by default Power BI shows as a column chart. I don't want to show. I want to show as a visual, as a card visual. You see now? Wow, it's just quite big, right? Very big. So I can do some basic formatting. Basic formatting, like I can just change the data label size from 45 maybe to 25. See? 25. Okay? And I will do the size, maybe I put 10. Okay. So I put all my KPIs in this left side. Okay. I'm doing some cheating now. Okay. I just why kept it? Because all the formatting are intact. Is actually fasten the process by just copying paste, because I'm already make the formatting, the reduce the size and change the tables formats is easier for me. So what I will do next, I'll just drag unique order here, 8,000 rows, right? Then we have a unit sold. So we have around to 269,000 units sold. And the last one is average sales. So it's damn easy now. So and that's why I want to highlight that start with the data model, data transformation, and DAX collection. Then your visual become much more simpler and easier to do it. Okay. So we have done this particular part, easy to manage. Okay. So then see what other requirements we have. We have to get the, we already filter the date. We have to get sales by the distribution channel, the warehouse code, and the region. So let me do this part as well. So let me go by distribution channel, right? The first one. Okay, so I just move it here, make it easier for the users, and I put a total sales here, total sales here. Okay, and I make it as a donut chart. You see, it's so simple now because we have a amazing data model and we already have some calculations. But I don't like this the legend, so I will do some basic formatting. I will turn off the legend. Okay, and for the data labels, I will. It's okay. The data labels are good enough, and the title I will maybe in reduced by 11. Okay, it's pretty small, so I change it again, increased to maybe for 13. Okay, okay, simple. So again, I do some cheating. Paste, paste. Right now, for our requirements to get the warehouse code, right? The warehouse code actually is inside our uh, here on the sales table. So I just move to legend and remove it. So we have got the warehouse code and the regions. Region is under region table, and so region. Yeah, you see how easy to make visuals with a good data model, transformations, and calculations. Okay, so let's revise what we have done so far and see what other requirements. So we have done this particular part. We have done all the KPIs. We put in the left column, and also for the sales, we have so done this particular part as well. What is left for us is using the US map. Okay, so let's do this then. Okay, so in Power BI, we have a good, quite good mapping visualizations. So let me go here. Okay, I move it here. Okay, so in here, what I'm showing you is the name in the location. Okay, name location, and also I want to get the region as a legend. Okay, so you get all the information, the name and region. Okay, so what the requirements are is that to get the which region is doing well in terms of sales in 2015 and 2016. So how we can get it, because we already made a measure called as total sales. What we have to do is just drag this total sales inside a size. So I just move it here. You see now, you see the as a California on the west side, it actually has a total sales which is around millions, right? You see here. So for California state itself has around a 670,000 total sales, and the unique order for California state is 440. Okay. Now, if I want to compare maybe with Utah, I click here. Now we get all the visuals, right? Now, if I for the Utah state, we have a total sale which is 663.29K, and the unique order for Utah state is 491. So it make much more simpler for my users to see the value. Now, if I go for North Dakota, I have only total sale is only around 124K, and the orders is 78,000. Okay, so this way I can easily filter my information on the map. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, by the region, if I go by region, I can see Washington how much they have sold. Yeah, and you see in the orange part how many they have sold. So is each donor chart is giving more information to you. Okay, so let's go back and see what is our last requirement is filtering. So we have done this US map thing. We have done the which region is doing well and which is not doing good. So the last requirement for this scenario is to filter by the date, by year. Again, I mentioned to you that the date table is very crucial. So what we have to do, so let's go top. I just go to, we have to filter the year. So let's be, where is a year? Yeah, year is actually on the bottom, the last column in the date table. Okay, so what I'm to want to show you that it's not very useful for the end user's standpoint. I will go and I do some kind of formatting again, and I will make as a slicer as a horizontal. Make it as a horizontal. So it's easier for my end user to view by ear. Okay, so I'm doing this thing. Okay, so it is quite big. Go back to it. Okay, so if I go back 2015, we have a total sales was around 7.38 million total sales, and the average sales was on 20.50K. Okay, but if I do the similar thing in 2016, we have only 3.67 million total sales, and the average sales was around 20.01K. So this way you can easily filter. I can also do filtering by the months. Okay, but I want to show you how you can easily make your data model and data transformation very easily. So some tips here: always filter your information. Okay, so for example here, okay, always get the information, mapping your information. Okay, and one here. So, and the important thing to note, which is some tips here for a better user experience, that always name your tables and measures simple. Okay, so if I go for there's something called as a Q&A in Power BI. So if some customer is looking for customer sales in distribution channel for year 2015, then by if I use customers, they're very easy to filter. Okay, so always name your measures and your tables simple. Don't make too complicated. That's why I put the customer list. I put as a customer. It's easy because end user never put customer table. They put as a customer or product or sales. Okay, it's mostly for easy for you. Okay, So yeah. So and again, always use your data model. Data model is one of the most critical part. What I want to show you that my data model is very simple, but in your user scenario, maybe a bit complicated. Maybe your data is coming from SQL Server or from Excel or a merger of data. Maybe the few files from text files, few from Excel, or few from Azure. Then you can still do it by using this method. Okay. So there are few things I want to highlight that using this particular method. So how you can move forward in my scenario that learning resources, how we can move forward. Then if I want to share the information that you can go the EDX to learn about Power BI. It's a free tool, and the fee is a mostly the all the instructors are from Microsoft. Okay. Second one is as Udemy. You have around 10 hours of free training. It's an amazing tool. Mostly when I start learning, I started using Udemy and EDX when I started 3 years back about Power BI. It's very simple, very easy. If you want to learn more, always go for Cruble, which is very simple videos. They put every week, and then go Gaia in a cube. Always have people from Microsoft. They all give you all the information here. If you want to learn DAX, then you have a guidance here, and also as a beginner, it's again the video through which you can learn how to use it. And all my slide deck, Excel file, and Power BI are stored in this area. Okay, so if you want to do the practice, you can use this particular Excel file and a slide deck, which will share after this session. Okay, so my session is over.
Hi, thank you, Aroh. Thank you so
Yes,
much. You
sure.
were amazing with the Power BI. I think a lot of people might be knowing how easy it is to create dashboard and the right way to do it, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Aroh.
Thank you
Everyone,
so
the
much.
meeting will be recorded and soon shared on SharePoint on the C Sharp Corner site. Abhijeet, are you in?
Hi, Manpreet.
Hi,
Yes,
Abhijeet. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm good, Manpreet. How are you?
I'm good, Abhijeet. So let me
Mm,
all welcome Abhijeet. Abhijeet
uh,
is an architect in Cognizant, and he's gonna share with us an interacting session with Microsoft 365 with Power Platform using a Graph API. So Abhijeet, all the mic and the session and the deck on you. Go ahead with your session.
Thank you, Manpreet. Please let me know once you see my screen and you're seeing the deck. As soon as you're seeing the deck, we'll start. Are you able to see the deck, Manpreet? Manpreet, am I audible to you?
Yes, Abhijeet, I can see your deck and your screen.
Okay, thank you. Hi, all. Today we are going to talk about interacting with Microsoft 365 data in Power Platform. So this is the agenda for today. I'm going to talk about the Microsoft Business Platform where we code less and do more. Then we are also discussing about Power Automate and Power Microsoft Graph. The demo about Microsoft, how to integrate the Microsoft 365 data in Power Automate will interact with Microsoft data in Power Apps. And then we'll see the rapid development platform Power Apps and the cool demo about the Power Apps. So this is the agenda. So to give a brief introduction of mine, uh, I am a Microsoft certified Azure architect. I blog and speak in events, and I'm also a C Sharp Corner MVP for the year 19 2019-2020. I love exploring and sharing knowledge with Microsoft Azure, Office 365 development, and modern digital workplace. So I'll be talking more about the Power Automate and Power BI in very basic terms, and then Microsoft Graph API. We are going to discuss about how we can combine their capabilities, and I'll focus on why, how, and where the configurations can be done so that this can be integrated. On one hand, we have a Microsoft Business Platform where there is no code or a less code, or on the other hand, we have Microsoft Graph API, which is in most cases used by the pro developers. So let's see how we can integrate these capabilities and uh, see the power of this Microsoft business applications. Okay, so uh, if you see on my screen, this is the typical enterprise scenario where uh, most of the enterprise who wants to embrace the digital transformation, they always go for a packaged applications. So these packaged applications are faster, completely built, and provide enormous features in the for the businesses to achieve their business processes. Example like Microsoft Office, Dynamics, and your legacy applications. So these applications provide vast number of features, but no application is exactly what you need. Every business needs to customize these applications to fit their process and industry, and there is always a gap between the actual product which is there and the business processes what you have in your business. So that gap is always there, and then comes to bridge that gap. Businesses always or enterprise always go for a bespoke applications for to cover that last mile or bridge the gap between what is available and what is not available. So considering these scenarios, and these scenarios are common scenarios, so considering these scenarios, Microsoft has introduced the uh, Microsoft business application platform, which is called Power Platform. Okay, so the intention for this Power Platform is code less and do more. Okay, so for this is for the citizen developers, where the citizen developers we have or the application or business analyst, where you have an application, and these applications can they want to not only leverage the current application, but along with that the gap, they want to bridge the gap. So they want to collaborate, they want to do citizen development to for their business processes which are not achieved by the enterprise applications, and also for their personal productivity. Say for example, we have multiple applications like you have Outlook, Planner, you have Salesforce, and all these applications are available as at an enterprise level. But how you can achieve your personal productivity using this Microsoft Business Platform? So to leverage all and to achieve all these features, Microsoft has introduced a business platform. And out so today we are going to talk about two of those. Out of the three, we have Power Automate, Power BI, Power Apps, and Power Virtual Agent. So these are the four entities in the Power Platform, but today we are going to talk about the Power Automate and Power Apps. So let's talk about the Power Automate. Power Automate basically was started for now non-developers, for the workers to work smart by automating workflows across apps and services. uh, it was for personal productivity, how to use it, how you automate your things, and then and now from the personal like for the personal activities, it has evolved into a business process development tool. So here the idea was to start your collaboration between your peers. You share the flow with them, and you can create the connectors and share it with them, and look upon notifications as how you can use the flow. So you can initiate the flows, you can share the connectors, you can create your own flows, and then with those flows you can share it with the business, so that with other peers, so that they can reuse those flows. So it is for the connection or collaboration between the peers. And also you can look upon this as a development area where you build your business applications with Power Apps, and then you can integrate these applications and systems using Flow. So there are uh, almost like more than 300 plus connectors where you can connect with these applications. So Power Automate is all about automating workflows. Okay, user connects to data, and when something happens, you can do a series of conditions and transformations, and do subsequent steps all automated again without no code. And the beauty of it is these tools or this platform is available both on your desktop as well as this is available on your mobile devices. So uh, so to I'll give you an example I use it for my personal productivity. So in my case, I always track my all the to do tasks in my to do lists. So whenever an email with high priority importance or a email from specific sender is sent, a task is created. I have created a flow which will automatically create a to do list task. So once I open my day, once I start my day, I see all those lists of to-do list items based on the high priority and the items which I have to address on priority. So this is one of the example of developing the personal productivity. So as I said, there are more than 300 plus connectors. So you can see on the screen. So this is a snapshot of connectors what we have, where you can integrate this in your Power Apps and Power BI and Power Automate. All these connectors are available. This is more than 300 plus, and everything is developing. These list of connectors, it developing by each passing day. The number of connectors are added. So considering that. You have the vast array of systems which you can connect with your Power Apps and power with your Power Platform tools. Okay, so there are various licensing models for this. There are some basic licensing and also a premium licensing. So you have to look at the licensing model before you use this connectors. Now moving on. So what are the components of Flow? Okay, how you create a flow and what are the components of a flow? So you start a flow with it starts with a simple trigger. Okay, you have a trigger, either you click on a button or you an email arrives or something is posted in Teams or you want to post something, or you have webhook scenarios as well, where something happens on a site, and based on that a webhook trigger is initiated which will come to your flow. So there are different triggers. When a trigger, so it starts with an event or a trigger, then you perform a number of actions, then you can add your actions and add your conditions on that, and then you can have conditional logic, uh, like if yes no scenarios and based on your business logic scenarios. And then, or you can call a different, you can trigger your other workflows, with once workflow, once this is initiated, you can, based on the conditions, you can trigger the next workflow as well. So these are the components of the flow. Okay, now to the other side of it, we'll talk about the Microsoft Graph API. So Microsoft Graph API, it is called the gateway to your cloud in the in the Microsoft 365 world. So it is the gateway for your data and intelligence in Microsoft 365. It So what is Microsoft Graph? It provides a unified programmability model that you can use to access the tremendous amount of data in Office 365, Windows 10, Enterprise, uh, enterprise mobility, security, you name it. So whatever is available in Microsoft 365, there is a gateway to it, and that is called Microsoft Graph. So Microsoft Graph gives you a unified REST API. That means there is a single endpoint. It gives a unified REST API and a comprehensive developer experience for integrating with data and intelligence exposed by services in the Office 365. Okay. So in a nutshell, we can say that Microsoft Graph is a single API endpoint, which can be called to interact almost anything in Microsoft 365. So you will see that on the screen, you can see the number of different areas or number of Office tools, Office 365 entities that can be called. Not only the advanced threat analytics, advanced threat protection, Azure AD, Intune, anything from Windows 10, Office 365, all this data can be achieved and pulled from using the Microsoft Graph API endpoints. Excuse me. So for Microsoft Graph API, why did Microsoft introduced this Graph API? Okay, let's talk about that. So prior to Microsoft Graph API, Microsoft had different products, cloud products, like you have OneDrive and then Outlook and Yammer and all different APIs to interact with them. So if in that scenario, let me give you an example that you want to pull the data from Outlook, you want to pull the data from OneDrive, and then you want your application needs to put that data back to Yammer. You have to process something and put the data back to Yammer. So this is your business problem, or you want to achieve this. So in that case, what are the steps involved? So first, you need to find the URL or endpoint of each API for each product. Okay, then you need to authenticate it. You need to get the access token. Once you get the access token, you get the results from the API, and this you need to repeat for each of those services. You know, and there are multiple tokens which are created that you need to manage those multiple tokens eh, in your application. So it made developers life difficult to to manage all those different APIs and to access tokens. So as a solution, Microsoft launched the Graph API, which is also called one endpoint that rules all. So moving on, these are the features of Graph, Microsoft Graph features. It is developed on MS Identity Stack, so no new authentication mechanism or remember one or more passwords or usernames and passwords. It has open standards, so all the open standards available like REST, JSON, OAuth, OData, all these open standards are supported by Microsoft Graph. Then we have custom data extensions. You can extend the Microsoft API and you can also add your custom data to it. There are some Delta queries. So it also provides an option of Delta queries. Say, for example, you have added 100 users from your in your organization, or some of the properties are updated for 100 users in your organization. And considering a large enterprise, just to get only those 100 users which are updated, it's a pain. So that Delta query provides you that option where you can just get the inserted, added, deleted, updated. So these kind of records you can get with a Delta query. Now batching. So if there are 5 to 6 calls you need to make Graph API, you can combine that, and I have a demo for that as well. So how we can do a batching query today. And then it also supports webhook. It also supports a granular level of permission, so you do not have to give an admin level permission or global service administrator kind of permission. You can give the permission at individual resource level and individual activity level, and you can manage that using Azure AD apps, and then it can be invoked whenever it's not revoked whenever it's not required. Okay, so there are two ways f- so we have Microsoft Graph Explorer, which is the playground where you can understand how the calls can be initiated, what parameters, what request headers are required, what goes into a Microsoft Graph, and what comes back as a response. So those you can find. Microsoft has recently released the newer version of Graph Explorer, and it's amazing. I would highly recommend to, if you have never used Graph, I would highly recommend you to use this Graph Explorer. The Graph Explorer is great for people just to understand how the calls are made, how the request goes, what request is submitted to the endpoint, and what is the response. But this is not. But it is not the scenario when you write your code. Okay, when you write your code, what happens? You are going to use a client ID. You are going to use a client secret, and you are going to use the the apps and the permissions which you are going to give in the scopes and permissions which you're going to give in your Azure Ready app. So in that scenario, if you are using Graph Explorer, it is not going to give you the it is not going to help you much. Okay, so for pro developers, for intermediate to pro developers, I always recommend them to use Microsoft. mm, I recommend them to use Postman, and in that you can have Postman collection. So Microsoft has provided this Postman collection, which gives you the environment.json to create an environment, and also it provides the collection of all the calls of in a collection, and you can use that. Let me show you that. So this is that collection. So here you see all the uh, you not only see all the products and their endpoints which are available, but you can also initiate the call. And the beauty of it is you can have your client ID, client secret, tenant ID, and then you will get all the information. You can use this and make the graph call. So this is as good as what you are going to do a call in your code. So this will never fail, and if you have any permission issues, that can be easily tracked using once you are using Postman and Postman collections. Okay, so moving on, I'll get back to my slide. Okay, so we come to a part where now I'll show you a cool demo of Power Automate and how we can integrate Microsoft Flow, which is Power Automate. How we can integrate Power Automate with Microsoft 365. Okay, so let me start here. So today we are going to have three ways of connecting to a Microsoft Graph from Power Platform. Okay, so I have created three flows for you. Uh, I will show you two flows. We'll have, in the interest of time, I'll fast forward the initial two flows, and there are three ways to do it. There is a good way to do it, there is a better way to do it, and there is the best way to do it. So I will tell you, I'll show you what are the ways you can do, and then the third way, which is the best way, we can have the live demo. We will create it here, and then we'll say what action we have. Okay, so in this flow, I'll go with the first flow first, and then show you what I have done here. Okay, so to connect to Microsoft Graph API, we need first we need the app registration. Okay, so what? Uh, so here, if I go for an app registration, let me go and have that app registration. So once you create this, so you have this virtual. So here you need to, so this is enhanced now, and it's really easy to create, not only create the app registration, but also if you need to give permissions and authentications, it is super easy. So here you need to put your redirect URI, right? And here you can provide the app permissions. Okay, by default you get user .read, and whatever permissions are required, you can give the permissions from here. So there are two set of permissions. What you can in Microsoft Graph API, you can give two set of permission. One is the delegated permission, and the second is the application permissions. So application permissions are the permission where user can consent and give the authorization, whereas so in the delegated permissions, application needs to access the API files as the signed user. So once the user signs in, that it based on that it use the delegated permission. Whereas if you have a daemon application without signed in users, without signed in users can use application permissions. And once you give application permissions, there is no user interaction in it. So user interaction is required in delegated permission, where you give the consent, and I'm sure you guys must have seen sometimes where you get a pop-up saying that your application is trying to access your planner or Outlook information, and then you need to consent that to get that information. So that is available here. Okay, so I'm not going to create the API permission, but since I have already created a client ID, client secret, and tenant ID, so here these are the three variables which I have created. I have a client ID, client secret, and tenant ID. So after that, once it is created, I'm doing a post method. In that, what I'm trying to do is, in the post method, I am going to uh, pass on the client ID, client secret, and once I pass on this, I get the access token. After getting an access token, I can use that access token and make a call to the Graph API. So I can make any calls. I can make, I can get the request, post the request, and based on the verb what you are using and the permissions what you have given in your API, Azure AD registration. So you are able to fetch the records. Okay, so this is one way of pulling the data. I will just show you a quick demo of that. Okay, so what it did is, we have this client ID, client secret. It made the call, and once the call was made, this is the access token what we have got. And once we get the access token, we have passed that access token. Okay, so this is all the information what we have got, and with that access token, we have made the call. And with that call, you are able to get the record. So I have made a call to get the groups in on my organization, and if you see here, I have got we have got all the list of groups which are created. If you see all company group, and then there are multiple groups which are created, contract auditors group, and so on so forth. So this is the way how you can use this method. So this is the good way of doing, where you provide the client ID secret, and get your access token. Once you get the access token, then you make a call. Okay, then we have another way to make a call, that is this. So in this, again, we are creating a client ID. We are providing the client ID, client secret, the tenant ID, but we are not requesting the access token. We are directly making a call to Graph API, and we are providing the details uh, in the authentication header. We are providing this authentication. What kind of authentication are we requesting? And then we provide the tenant ID, client ID, and client secret. And we are with this authentication header, and this authority of with this information, tenant ID, client ID, and client secret. So you get the information what is required. So what is the dispute scenarios, and where to use when which one to use when. So first is, once you get the access token and you have the required permission, with that access token you can make multiple calls. Okay, so you can make a call to planner, you can also make a call to Outlook, Yammer, and all those you can get into a single access token. So every time you're making a call, you can use that access token and make a call. In this scenario, for the second scenario, when in your flow you just want to make one call, in that case you need not have to get the access token, and once you get the access token, then make the graph call, because anyways you are going to make only one call. So in that case, you can just make this go in the advanced option and have this tenant ID, client secret created, and uh, that will give you the required information. Okay, I'll just test this for you. Fine, so we have got this data back. So it is the same data what we have got, and we have made the same call, but this is the different way to do it. Okay, and there is a third way to do it. I will show you how we can do that. Okay, so let's have a so I'm taking all the JSON files for you, and I'll open all the JSON files. Okay, so here we are. Fine. By the time this opens, okay, so here we have all the JSON files. Okay, so this is the step one. So what I'm going to do is today we are going to create a custom connector. So if you go to data and if you see click on custom connectors, you will be able to create the custom connector. So using the custom connector, what you can do is you can provide all the client ID, client secret, and all this information into your custom connector. So this will every time you need to call any graph APIs within your organization, you can create the connector and share it within your organization. So anytime or else within your group, or if you have based on the permissions and the business scenarios you're looking at, so either you can share it with your business within your organization or within your group. So what it does is with this client ID and client secret, you can make the call to graph API. The user need not have to provide the client ID, client secret. The user just needs to provide what information is required in their flow, and they can get the information based on the permissions. So to create this, I'm going to use an open API file. So this is the open API file. So what? So this is a Swagger definition. Okay. So what is a Swagger? If you ask me, so Swagger is the representation of the RESTful API specification. Okay, it is the representation of the RESTful API specification without any implementation logic. So implementation logic will not be there, but it will have the specification. So this is the host. This is the batch query which we are going to call. Okay, with this. So here it is. We are going to call the batch query, and these are the authorization URL and token URL. So using this authorization URL and token URL, you can make a call. Okay, so let's quickly get into. I'll import that API file. So once you so this is your Swagger editor, and you either you can use your editor to Swagger editor to edit that file, and you need to provide this. So this is a four-step process where to create the custom connector. Let me give some. Okay, you can upload the connector icon as well. So let me add this. Add a different one. So now with the recent updates of Microsoft Flow, the Power Automate. The name is updated, and with this Power Automate, you can also connect via your on-premise data. You can get your on-premise data as well using this. Okay, so scheme is HTTPS. So you see, it has automatically picked up this host name and base URL. So this is coming from the Swagger file. So the authentication type we are using OAuth 2.0. I'll provide the client ID and client secret here. So this is the one-time entry. So once you create this connector, custom connector is created, you need not have to provide any further. There is no requirement. The user need not, once they are creating a flow, they need not have to create or provide the client ID, client secret. So this is kind of abstraction you can do. Uh, so scope we are keeping this redirect URL. We are going to take this and put it into our Azure app registration. Now we have completed this, and the definition is ready. If you see, all this information is pulled from that Swagger. Okay, it says batch, execute batch with delegation permission. It has a triggered batch, and you also see it is using this graph, Microsoft Graph beta batch, and then it is using body and validation. Okay, so all this information is there. What we are going to do is we're going back here, and okay, I need to create the connector first, because once I create that, I will get the redirect URL. Okay, so this redirect URL, I need to put into my Azure AD registration. So this is the virtual meet demo registration which I'm going to do, and I've already entered. If you see here, I have already entered this redirect URI. Okay, if I try to enter once again, it is going to give me an error message because I already have that here. Okay, so using this reader, so why this is required is once a call is made to the postman, this is it is going to redirect. This redirect URI will be used to once the request is redirected back. Okay, so going back in my custom connector, so this is the information what we have entered. uh, go back here and then update the connector. Okay, I think I've updated the resource URL. So I need to provide the client ID, client secret is provided. I need to provide the resource URL, which is this one. Test it. So I need to create the connection once. So what this will do is it will bring the access token. So once it brings the access token and saves it here, then I can make this, my connector can make the calls. Okay. So going back, I have this, I have the client ID. Okay. Let me enter this information once again. Client secret. And then this is my perfect. So this is created. Now I'll try to create a connection. So unless the connector is connection is created, I will not be able to proceed forward. Okay. So let me go back here and show you what is created here. Okay. So this is the information. This is the client ID secret. I can edit that and update it. And then I have created here with the patch. And this is the process which is there. And once you update it, you go to the test, and this is the connection which is created. So out of this 5 we have every time you click on this, a new connection is created. So if you change anything at your end in your application, if you have changed or given new permission, you need to create a new connection so that the new token is generated and you can get that information. So in the raw body, what we can do here is I will show you that I can test the operation. Okay, so this is the information what I have got. I have made the call to get the group's information, also the display name of the user. So this is the batch query which I've executed, and based on that, this is the response I have got. Okay, so this is my batch query. I'm getting the display name of the user and the groups. Okay, so now I have got this. How can I use it? So quickly, I'll run you through how we can create that. So let me create one more automated from blank. Okay, or else we can go with the an instant flow. We'll start it here, and I will name it live flow. Let me take the input. Okay, if you see here, we have the connector which is created. Okay, this is the live connector, and then we have the another connector. So in this connector, we have three operations which we've created. So one is the batching. So what we are going to do is we are going to mm, yeah, provide the body of it. So let us we will do one of the business process. We'll implement that. So what we are going to create is we are going to get the information. We will create a group. We'll take the name of the user from the group. Okay, we'll take the group name. Once we get the group name, we are going to create a Teams channel for that user. And once that Teams channel is created, we are going to create different channels. We will first create a team, and then we will create the Teams channel. Okay, so let's quickly see what that flow looks like. In the interest of time, I'll show you that how what is done here. So I have taken, so group creation, I have here I'm taking the group name. Okay, so from here I get the group name. I'm taking the input with the group name from the user. I'll get the group name from the user. I have put a 1 minute delay, so that because the group names creation takes time, you know. So groups, so we I have given 1 minute delay so that groups are created. Once that group is created, I am taking this I'm putting this I'm making a call to create a Teams. Okay, so this is the Teams channel, and you can create the Teams using it. And once the Teams is created, so if you see here, uh, I am getting the response body. So body from the group creation, there I'm getting the ID of the group. So whatever group is created, I'll get the ID of that group. And once I get the ID, I'm using it to create the Teams. And once the Teams is created, I get that ID from create channel. I'm getting the ID of that team, and then creating the different channels in that uh, Teams, Microsoft Teams. Okay, so let's see this in action. So this is my legal advisors. Okay, so I'll go back to Azure Active Directory, and I'll show you the groups. Okay, so if you see here, we don't. So this is the legal advisors groups which is created. It is just created. Okay, so if you see the time, it is created at 9:57:44. So now the group is created. We'll see the next part of it, and I will also open my Teams. So here currently, if you see, there is no Teams created, which will be created by the flow. So my flow is running. So once this 1 minute is completed, we will see the like, in Teams, you will see that um, these three channels will be created. Okay, so this is how your business processes and how you can integrate your data with uh, Power Automate. Yeah, you can see here. So legal advisors are created, a general Teams channel is created, and we are seeing that the new hidden channels are getting added. Okay, so 2 channels, 3 channels, and 4 channels. So this is going to get added. So quickly to we'll move on to the next part of it. Okay, so this is how this additional three channels are created. Yeah, it's getting added. So now my flow is completed. If you see, the flow is completed, and once this flow is completed, all this you create a team, you add the channels to it. So this is how you can integrate. You can pull the data. You can create the group in. Uh, y- you can not only create the group, but using that group, you can create the team and teams and channels to it. Okay, so this is how it is done. Now going back to my slide, I'll just talk a few points on the Power Apps. So Power Apps is all about building a low code and no code business application that can easily connect with 300 plus connectors. Power Apps is a suite of apps and services, connectors and data platform that provides rapid application development. Okay, so this is the rapid application development to build custom applications as per your business needs. So I talked about the gap, to bridge the gap between the packaged applications and your business processes, right? So Power Apps come handy there. You can create an application, also you can integrate it with Flow, and then you can integrate that with Microsoft Graph using connectors, and that is how the combination will give you all the achievement of what you need to pull from the Microsoft 365 data. Okay. So what it does is Power Apps is democratizes the application development, the custom application development. But by that, what I mean is, uh, your citizen development developers can also pitch in and pull the data in more complex data from your legacy applications into their applications and then work through it with that data. Okay, so it democratizes the custom building application experiences and enabling the feature rich business applications without writing code, so user need not have to write any code for that. I'll show you a quick demo for that, and then we'll wrap up the session. I know I'm over time 1 minute, but just let me show you the quick pick of what we can do with the Power Apps. Okay, so this is my Power Apps. I am adding here a button. Okay, and then I'm adding a data table which is available in the layouts. And then I'm adding the connector. Okay, so my connector is this one. I am going to use the virtual demo connector and this one. So now my connector is added. So this is the connector what I've added. Okay, so I've added a button, and so so on click of this button, what I'm doing is I am adding in this groups list. I am calling this connector, and I'm calling get application. So it is going to call the applications and get the applications which are registered in Azure. Okay, and then for this I am going to have, for the data table I am going to have this values. Okay, so if I edit the field and if I add the fields here, you can see all those fields which are given by this application, those are seen here. Okay, I'm taking application ID, and then I'm taking the display name and created. Okay, let me find that quickly. So these are the columns which are added, and once you click on this is show apps. I'll run this. Yes. So what this, if you can quickly see this, what we have done is we have used the same connector what is created. With that same connector, we are using uh, one of the endpoint where we are calling the application get application. And once you get those applications, you are seeing that these are the ID, display name, and these are the all the Azure apps which are registered. These can be displayed here. Okay. So these are my Azure Ready apps which are registered. So these are the different apps which are registered. Okay, so that you are seeing in the Power Apps. Okay, so going back to my slide. Yeah. So I'll summarize my presentation. So Power Apps and Power Automate provides the direct and indirect integration with Microsoft API. We have seen the ways how we can directly or indirectly uh, integrate with Microsoft Graph API. So by integrating Microsoft Graph API in Power Platform, and you can automate with Power Apps, you can integrate it with Power Apps, and you can automate many processes, like you can create Teams channel, you can create, review the security, you can You can decide the security threats and deciding actions which are required, or you can push the data to Outlook. So these are the different things what you can do. The conditions, the business scenarios are enormous. So Microsoft Graph API has the information intelligence. So this is information intelligence and the insights from the Microsoft 365 world. You're seeing all this here. So we can access any information in the Automate and Power Apps. So all this information, intelligence, and insights can be pulled into Power Automate and Power Apps. Okay, so all these capabilities are built in the product. If you see in Microsoft Graph, all these capabilities are built in. So what you need is the business problem. So you need a business problem, and where you can apply these capabilities together, that helps to run the business faster and better. So that's all from my end. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask.
Thank you, Abhijit. I think the session was nice, and I think the automation, how Graph is helping using Automate, we can use for Power Apps, we can use for Teams, or we can use extensively everywhere as a connector, right? So I think that would be very helpful for everyone here.
Sure.
Yeah. So we are recording this session, so it's gonna be shared in our C Sharp Corner video portal, so everybody can go in and see all your videos from there. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Yeah. Thank you, Manpreet. I really appreciate you guys arranging this. I
Th-
really appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Abhijit. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I
Hi
say?
everyone. So we have Eng here. Hi Eng, how are you doing today?
Yeah, great. It's
So Eng is
almost
gonna
10. Okay.
so Eng is gonna present on Azure Sentinel. It's one of my favorite. I want to see how they are handling AI analytics. So Eng, without wasting any much more time, all on to you.
Okay, can see my slide?
It's
Okay,
loading.
okay, can see? Okay. Okay, let's start. Okay, today I am Eng Soon. You can call me Soon. I am Microsoft MVP and certified in Azure Security. Today I would like to share with you about the Azure Sentinel with Office 365 or M365. Okay, today organizations are facing with the incredibly difficult task of trying to protect their expanded digital estate from increasing the cyber threat. The move to the cloud and a mobile workforce have pushed the border of your estate beyond the boundary of your physical network. Your data and user and system are everywhere. Meanwhile, the frequency of attack are ever growing. Regardless of the size of your organization or the industry, you are the target. This is the challenge that we all struggle with in the IT security. And it's a challenge that facing by Microsoft that think that can uniquely help with the Azure Sentinel. What are the security operation challenge? This creates the significant challenge of your security operation teams who are tasked with the defending your extended estate. That means your physical network. Security data explosion. As your digital estate grows, so does the volume of security data. In fact, of 76% of organization report is increased. And much of it is coming from in the cloud. So pumping it into a legacy on-premise system just does not make a ton of sense. And that volume is just going to keep growing. Data, the and the volume is just going to keep growing. Data is a field for the machine learning model that have become so critical to threat detection. The model need both for more signal and more diverse signal. To show up their defense, enterprise has deployed dozens of security products, each producing a large volume of alert. In isolation, this product may have the high false positive rate and poor response prioritization, resulting affecting the alert noise. As a result, organizations report that nearly half of the service, 44%, are never investigated. Part of the reason of these alerts to fall through the crack is a massive shortage in the cybersecurity professional. A recent report from the CSO magazine showed that this is the global talent shortage will increase to 3.5 million fulfill security job by 2021. So the cloud can help manage the complexity of the expanding digital estate. It simplify and makes security easy to manage. Harnessing the power of cloud will set your security operation team free of IT work and help them focus on security work with no limit. Next generation of AI and automation in the cloud help to supercharge of your work. It will leverage the large-scale intelligence available in the cloud and make it work for you. So Microsoft introduced you with the Azure Sentinel, the new intelligent cloud native security information event management (SIEM). It will meet your defense where they are and deliver the instant value. Choose from the hundred of built-in dashboard, hunting the query, analytics, playbook, and more guided hunting and investigation experience. Help security analysts of all scale level to get their job done. Of course, Azure Sentinel offer all the extensibility you need to customize and create your own dashboard, analytics workbook, and even offer integration with professional grade tools like Jupyter Notebook. The second, enable you to collect, store, and analyze all of your security data with cloud scale and economy. Scale automatically as the data volume and computing need grow. Incremental growth or burst during an incident. No infrastructure cost or upfront commitment, only pay off what you use. No infrastructure setup or maintenance. Agility to add data as you need. And lastly, leverage with the AI and automation as force multiplier for your security operation team. Detect the threat you may have otherwise missed. Few alert into actionable, prioritize incident to reduce the alert fatigue. Apply the automation to reduce manual processes and speed response. At Microsoft had spent a lot of over $1 million every year on research and development to secure the organization and enable to digitally transform your organization without compromise the productivity. Microsoft also try to keep it simple for the customer, knowing you have the limited resources and dollar. Microsoft what made Microsoft so different to the other cloud provider and even security provider that Microsoft have over 3,500 security professional and intelligent informed by trillion of source, so Microsoft can help you to make a smarter decision and remediate faster. Microsoft also truly provide you the truly holistic approach to the technology. Microsoft help you to protect your identity, data, application, and device across the on-premise, cloud, and mobile from end to end. This protection is at a global scale with the enterprise class technology, benefit from the investment of security at the global scale with built-in capability and resources. Okay, now we go details about the end-to-end solution for security operation. Azure Sentinel deliver the end-to-end solution for security operation. Start with the collecting all of your data and getting instant insight into the data via workbook and query. Begin applying the analytics to the data to find a real threat from that sea of data. Hunt through all your data use built-in exploratory query. Use bookmark and live stream tools to track the notable event and monitor new activity. Manage and investigate incident using graph and timeline views. Automate the investigation and remediation playbook. All of this powered by the community of security analysts and backed by Microsoft security experts who leverage their vast experience defending Microsoft services to contribute the analytics, query, playbook, and so on. Okay, let's go for the first one, the visibility. With the one-click integration with Microsoft solution, data connected for growing list of other technology on-premise or the cross-cloud, support for standard log format, REST API for connecting to the cloud solution, and also the proven log entity platform with more than 10 PB of the daily data ingestion. Other than that, Azure Sentinel also provide you the interactive dashboard, combine multiple kind of visualization, including the graph and the map. Provide the deep insight into a single data source or combining multiple sources, powered by KQL query, making workbook easy to build and customize. Other than the data connector and workbook announced in November, now Microsoft also include a new data connector via cross cloud like AWS, Amazon. And here you can see that the data connector available in the Azure Sentinel. Okay, let's go for the analytics. More than 100 built-in analytic rules were developed by Microsoft and the community security expert. A widget that enable you to create your own KQL query for the create your own analytic rules by using the KQL query. Threshold can be set to alert when activity level exceed the normal pattern. Correlation events with your threat intelligence, and now with the Microsoft Intel about the malicious URL. Alert also can be used to trigger automated playbook. Okay, other than that, Azure Sentinel also built-in model offer the benefit of machine learning without the complexity. Microsoft also proven of the shell machine learning model for identify the suspicious login across the Microsoft identity service to discover malicious LSH access by using the transfer learning from existing machine learning model. Azure Sentinel can detect the anomaly from the single datasheet with the accuracy. Okay, this one I will not show you because I will show you the demo. Okay, let's go for demo. This is the first one, the demo from the analytics. Okay. Once you have a solid query created, you can create the analytic alert rules to perform additional action on those results. As the most other component of Azure Sentinel, Microsoft has also provided the built-in analytics template rules with pre-created query based on the data source. You simply need to select the template and click create the rules. During the creation of a template or custom analytic rules, you can configure specific setting to create a schedule and alert threshold. You can specify how often to run the query or how far back to insert. In addition, alert threshold specify how many results are required to issue an incident alert. Now you can define whether to create an incident alert from the result. Alert grouping will allow you to group a minimum number of results together rather than potentially creating an incident alert for each result. Finally, you can assign a playbook for automated remediation or action against the result. More details about the playbook you can refer to Microsoft Docs. Okay, now we go for the hunting. Okay. Azure Sentinel also provide you the built-in threat hunting developed by the Microsoft and the community expert. Run the threat hunting query and see the result without the prior query experience. Create your own threat hunting query unique to your environment and using the KQL. Start investigation directly from the hunting query. Other than that, you can bookmark enable you to flag your notable data for further investigation, annotate and visualize the bookmark data in an investigation graph, add a bookmark to enrich the existing incident or create the new one. Receive the notification of new threat-related activity using the live stream. Now you can launch the Azure Notebook directly from the Azure Sentinel, making it easy to create and execute the Jupyter Notebook to analyze your data. Notebook combine the live code, graphic, visualization, text, making them a valuable tools for threat hunter. Choose from the built-in gallery of notebook developed by the Microsoft Security Analyst or import other from the GitHub to get started. These notebooks are the same professional strength hunting the solution. Microsoft owns the threat hunter used every day. Okay, let's go for the hunting. For the advanced security operator and IT pro, hunting allows proactive assessment against the specific risk. They allow the manual proactive investigation into a possible security threat based on the ingested data. Hunting is based off based off the query. Microsoft provide the server built-in query and custom query that can also be created. Once the query is created, you can convert it into the analytic rules to run on the schedule. As you see, the sample query can also be obtained from the each data connector page. Okay, let's go for the incident. Container for alert, event, and bookmark related to a particular security threat. Azure Sentinel also automatically create from the alert or initial by the security analyst when the threat hunting start. Can be other than that can be assigned to the analyst for further investigation, and status can be checked whether solved or not solved. Analysts also can be easily tag incident and add a comment for further investigation. Other than that, this also can trigger the automated playbook from the incident. Okay. As you can see, automatically correlated the entity across different data source and alert. Expand the scope of your investigation using the built-in exploration query. View a timeline of related alert, events, and bookmark. Click on any of the node to see the data form, data information. Gain the deep insight into related entities, user, domain, and more. Okay. Okay. Ultimately, Azure Sentinel customer can now use the power of the URL detonation to enrich the alert and quickly discover the threat related to the malicious URL. When creating the schedule alert, any URL data in the query result can be met with a new URL entity type. Whatever the alert containing a URL entity is generated, the map of the URL will be automatically detonated, and the investigation graph will be immediately enriched with the detonation result. A verdict of the final URL and screenshot can be used quickly assess the potential threat. To use these features, make sure you enable the URL logging. That means your history for your security web gateway, web proxy, firewall, and legacy port like IDS or IPS. Okay, let me show you the demo of incident. Okay, incident. Wow, so blur. Incident are only created when the specified by an analytic alert in the Azure Sentinel portal. Click on the incident to view of all incidents created. Clicking the view full details provide additional information on the incident. You can change for the severity if applicable, set the status, and assign incident to the responsible individual to investigation further. Or you can also submit manually for this event against any playbook created for the Azure Sentinel. Okay, you can go through the investigation graph that I mentioned before. You can click more and more details from the node. Okay, let's go for automation. Automation is very important in the Azure Sentinel. For example, like just now previous speaker show you the power app that can automate it, and automated by using using O365. Okay, now here you can see that the Azure Logic app fully integrate with the Azure Sentinel and build automatically and scalable playbook that integrate with the across tools, teams, and so on. So you also can choose from a library of sample, create your own using more than 300 plus built-in component plus the generic connector like HTTPS. You also can trigger a playbook from the alerts or incident investigation. Okay, let me show you the playbook. Okay, as you can see that playbook Azure Logic app, but specific for the Azure Sentinel by adding an API connection to the Azure Sentinel alert. The example of this playbook set an Azure AD user account to disable when an alert is triggered and put a command into an incident. Additional action can be added, such as simple email notification. Anything that Logic app can connect to, you can type into the Azure Sentinel playbook and analytic rules to automate the action. If you are asking about whether I should choose the Azure Security or Azure Sentinel, Azure Sentinel if your company has a cybersecurity expert, so you can use the Azure Sentinel. If your company does not have, you can use the Azure Security first to understand the Azure Security. Then after that, you go to the Azure after implement the Azure Security Center, then you can choose the integrate Azure Security Center with the Azure Sentinel. Okay, for today topic, I will demo the last demo Azure Sentinel integrate with by using the O365. Okay, and the first step, you need to start creating the log analytic workspace. Then after that, set up the Azure Sentinel. The third, link the O365 service to the Azure Sentinel. Then install the Azure Sentinel dashboard and viewing the collection data. Okay, at first, you need to create your log analytics workspace. Then after that, you need to fill in the information and create your log analytics workspace. And after that, after set up the create the log analytic workspace, you will see that your workspace on the log analytic workspace homepage. Okay, after that, as you can see, this slide is old slide. Actually, now Azure Sentinel is general available. You just click this one because you want to set up the Azure Sentinel. Now you can create your own Azure Sentinel. workspace and click add and select the workspace instance of log analytics. Then this will be collect your data, is stored. Everything your data is stored at the Azure Sentinel workspace. Okay, after that, at first, normally we will choose the Azure Active Directory, or we need to connect to get which data. The first is the Azure Active Directory, and the second one is the Office 365. You don't need to coding anything. You just click connect. If connect is, Microsoft will provide you with the simple step how to connect with the Azure Sentinel data connector. If it is very across with the different cloud or different data connector. Okay, as in the old choose file, you can see that it will provide you step by step. Then how to configure it. You don't need to worry so much. Okay, after that, we need to collect the data. Oh, install the Azure after we connect, we need to install the Azure Sentinel. Okay, after that, you need the last step. You can see that if I got something alert from the can't login, you can try. This data show you I did not log in. I can't log in with the with my O365 account within 5 times. Then it will show you the data at the in the Azure Sentinel dashboard. Okay. Other than that, you can see the Azure AD sign login log overview. It provide you the information more related when happen and which application sign in with the Azure AD and also which platform. This more details to help you to protect your cloud and your on-premise data. Okay, I think you can see that the signing was blocked because it came from the IP with the Malaysia activity. Okay. Other than that, you can go to the Azure Sentinel workspace to see the O365 issue that help you to identify the where the Malaysia activity or threat is happening. For example, like some people cannot download the file, but the person can download, so that you have everything you have the data in your hand. Okay, for more resources, you can learn from the Microsoft Docs, and remember to join the Azure Sentinel if you want to update your update from the Azure Security Center. That's all for my today presentation. You can thank you, Manpreet and CSharpCorner. Manpreet or Simon at there?
Hey, Singh, I'm coming.
Okay.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
the session. So I had one question here. So when you have this interaction with the dashboard can be embedded somewhere in any platform?
Yes, you
Okay.
can. The latest one you can embed it to embedded share your how to say embedded to any of your SharePoint
Lovely.
SharePoint
That's
data.
nice. That's nice. I like the way it's so easy to configure and it's so readily accessible. So I like that scenario in there.
Okay,
So
thank
thank you,
you.
Eng, for joining. Thank you for the session. It was amazing. The recording is being done and will be shared soon. We have Mahesh on the call. Hi, Mahesh.
Hey guys, good morning. I was a little late today. Thank you for everybody. I think I was watching a little bit half of the show. Thank you, Soon, for presenting nicely. I learned a lot of stuff today, actually. Um,
Okay, thank you.
and I think Aro and Abhijeet did pretty good job before this. It is nice meeting you. Nice to see, you know, people, speakers coming from different expertise.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
hopefully, you enjoyed. And Manpreet, I think thanks for taking care of me and backfilling me.
Sure, Mahesh. Always taking our back.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um,
So, Mahesh, I thought we'll take this and announce our Light Up virtual conference.
yes,
And
let's talk 2 minutes about this. Yes.
right, yes. So, everyone, we are announcing this Light Up virtual conference. It's gonna be July 7th, 2020. And the site, as you can see on our website, is hosted. Mahesh has a very important role here because he is backing it very strongly, and so we have opened up the speaker session. We want everybody, all the speakers, to come in and submit your sessions. Till now, we have received around 40 speakers, and we are gonna close down the speaker list soon. So if you're interested, please go in on C Sharp Corner. This event will be soon highlighted up there, and we will be taking the last count of speakers, and then we're going to announce the speaker list. And so this Light Up is more of a conference for donating money to two major foundations. One is the Gates Foundation, which is Bill Gates and Melinda Gates Foundation, and the second one is for UNESCO, because the children who are in need still need your money, and because of the COVID, all the donations have been stopped because people are not getting salaries, and in a way they have been broadened. But we IT people, we are still able to work from homes. We are getting our full paychecks and probably more work and number of activities we have been doing. So we and Mahesh, we thought let's do something, a little bit of a fundraiser, and donate our amount of money through sponsorship, through our viewers, and even speakers. So as you all know, even a dollar counts, even 1 rupee counts. So every single donation will be directly gone to them. So soon, we want all our speakers to come in. You are gonna see this on a C Sharp Corner homepage. The event uploaded there. Please come and submit your session. It's gonna be a 24 hours non-stop conference. And so I think Mahesh, we can cancel our next month meetups so that we totally concentrate on this and all the speakers are in one platform. What
Yeah,
are your
that's a
views?
good idea. That's a good idea. I like it. And to add to what you just said, this Light Up Virtual Conference is a fundraiser. It's all everything 100% proceeds will go towards COVID-19 and these foundations. Um, and yeah, there's going to be sponsors. Their 100% money will go again to the foundations. And anybody who wants to donate, there's going to be a donate option on the website. Feel free to donate. At Manpreet said, even rupee $1, one, everything counts, right? Anything we can help. Some of us are really fortunate and lucky to have jobs and income coming up, but majority of people who are suffering from it, not only they don't have job, they also can't even have access to the even food, right? So our goal is, as a community, C Sharp Core community, and other tech platform community, and you and us all combined, our goal really is to help as much as we can, and as I said, we are lucky enough. So if we can help and raise some money for COVID-19, this will be a great cause.
Right, that's so true. So
Yeah,
I
I'm
think,
looking forward to a lot of you guys join us there. Again, we have limited seats on this, so make sure you at least book your seat so we know kind of how many number of audience will be joining this conference and we can plan accordingly.
yep, that's the plan, Mahesh. Thank you so much. Thank you, Simon, for hosting this session. You are always a champ.
Yeah, Simon, thank you. This was great, awesome. Manpreet, thank you, and we'll talk.
Yeah, sure, sure, everyone.
Yeah, all right. Thank you all.
Have a good Monday, everyone. Yeah, bye bye.
Bye.